If Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu thought they were smart and could trick Iran into developing a false sense of safety during the current ceasefire, and then catch Tehran off guard when it's least expecting an attack from them, they are mistaken. Why am I saying this? Well, there appears to be bad news for both Trump and Netanyahu. The new Iran appears to have woken up after the last attack by Israel and the US, and therefore wants to learn from its laziness of the past. The word laziness accurately describes the Iranian attitude, given that it learned nothing from the Israeli attack last year and refused to bolster its air defense system, build meaningful diplomatic and military partnerships with countries around the world, and revamp its own severely compromised intelligence network. This is what the Israeli attack last year had done. It had exposed Iran in all these three areas. But the Iranian government kept sleeping until they received a rude shock in the form of a brutal attack by Israel on 13th of June. So let's return to a seemingly new strategy adopted by the current Iranian government. What's extraordinary about this new strategy is the spectacular pace with which Tehran is willing to do a course correction nowadays. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about here. Up until now, both Trump and Netanyahu claimed that they had completely obliterated the Iranian nuclear facilities, even though their own intelligence assessments indicated otherwise.
As you know, last weekend, the United States successfully carried out a massive precision strike on Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities, and it was very, very successful. It was called obliteration. No other military on earth could have done it, and now this incredible exercise of American strength has paved the way for peace with a historic ceasefire agreement late Monday, and we call it the 12-day war. Spoke to a few people. I guess that just sounded like the right name. It was a 12-day war. And we think it's over. I don't think they're going to be going back at each other. I don't think so.
Even the satellite imagery had contradicted their claims, as reported by this channel. As expected, Iranian officials and people close to the government too mocked Donald Trump, claiming that US stealth bombers had failed to significantly damage the highly enriched uranium and therefore Iran's nuclear program.
Obviously, the structures on the surface have been destroyed or badly damaged, but that's not where the key assets are. The key assets are deep down underground. And from what we're hearing in Washington, it doesn't seem like Trump is going to be very happy. But what is more important is that the Iranians know how to build centrifuges. They have the infrastructure in the country, the industrial infrastructure to build everything for the nuclear program. They have the scientists, they have thousands of scientists, and Iran is no longer going to allow the International Atomic Energy Agency into the country because it refused to condemn the attacks on the nuclear installations, which could have hypothetically led to radioactive contamination, killing many people. So why should Iran allow them back in, especially since it is clear that they have been passing on intelligence for years to Western intelligence agencies, and that has led to the murder of Iranian scientists.
Even Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has said the same, mocking Trump for his false claims. We saw these statements coming from the Iranian establishment while Trump was seen to be taking a very conciliatory stand towards Iran by talking about lifting sanctions and indicating that he had moved on from this conflict.
So, but I think they're very much finished. I think Israel's going to get back to doing what they do, and I think that Iran's going to get back. You know, Iran has a huge advantage. They have great oil, and they can do things. I don't see them getting back involved in the nuclear business anymore. I think they've had it. They've been at it for 20 years, and I don't see that happening either. Now, if it does, we're always there. It won't be me. It'll be somebody else. They just had a war. The war was fought. They fought it bravely. I'm not giving up. They're in the oil business. I mean, I could stop it if I wanted. I could sell China the oil myself. I don't want to do that. They're going to need money to put that country back into shape. We want to see that happen. Would it? No. If they're going to sell oil, they're going to sell oil. We're not taking over the oil. We could have, you know. I used to say with Iraq, keep the oil. I could say it here too. We could have kept the oil. No, China is going to want to buy oil. They can buy it from us. They can buy it from other people. But you're going to have to put that country back into shape.
But Trump suddenly changed his tune on Friday when a BBC reporter asked him if the US would once again bomb Iran and its nuclear facilities if it finds out that Tehran was busy enriching uranium once again. First, Trump mistook the BBC reporter for an Iranian woman before saying this.
On Iran.
You tell me when it gets boring. Okay.
On Iran. If Iran.
Are you from Iran?
No, I'm not from Iran. I'm from the UK. But if the intelligence reports conclude that Iran can enrich uranium to a level that concerns you, would you consider bombing the country again?
Sure, without question, absolutely.
And have you had any conversations?
Turned out to be unbelievable. But, you know, our incredible flyers and I call them the shots, these guys are unbelievable. Think from 52,000 feet, they hit the equivalent of a refrigerator door. They actually hit it right in the center, so it's much smaller than that. And just bomb after bomb going deeper, deeper, blowing up. Incredible, incredible.
Within hours, the Iranian stand too changed decisively as the Islamic Republic's foreign minister, Sayyid Abbas Araghchi, now says that the US bombing had indeed damaged Iranian nuclear facilities. According to the BBC, Araghchi has admitted that excessive and serious damage was done to the country's nuclear sites in the recent US and Israeli bombings. Araghchi reportedly told a state broadcaster of his own country that an assessment of the damage is being carried out by the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran. Analysts believe that it suits the Iranian interest to keep agreeing with the US and Israel on the damage caused to its nuclear facilities. This would help Iran to keep both Israel and the US at bay and give Tehran enough time to build a robust air defense system with the help of the Chinese and the Russians and revamp its intelligence apparatus. As I explained in my last video, you can watch it here. Even though the Chinese air defense system, which was so effective during the India-Pakistan conflict, is cheap, Iran would still need time, at least 18 to 24 months, according to some experts, to install and fully train its military personnel to operate this radar system effectively. And the last thing they want to do is to have the US and Israelis at Iran's doorstep with heavy weaponry once again when Tehran is still not fully prepared to counter fresh aggressions. This would happen if Iran continues to claim that its nuclear facilities are intact. What would also help Iran's cause is its decision to keep the dodgy IAEA people at bay. These steps taken in coordination would go a long way in helping Iran build something truly astonishing against its enemies. God forbid if there is a military conflict once again. I say God forbid because war is never good for humankind, for humanity. Doesn't matter which countries are fighting. Innocent people lose their lives, they die, their property is damaged, as we have seen recently in Iran and Israel, and continue to see in Gaza and elsewhere. That's it for me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism on buymeacoffee.com and Patreon. If you do think that our journalism is worth supporting, then you too should consider becoming part of it. Details are there in the description of this video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.